Alright, these new Apple Macs, they are damn good, almost to the point where I have to say that Hackintoshing doesn't have much of a place. Now, when people went to go buy laptops, and they go online for recommendations, people usually say, don't buy Apple. Price performance is low, so you just look at a Windows laptop or Hackintosh or something like that. And it's kind of infuriating to see that online, because it seems like they just parrot whatever they see. They see big price tag, they see some normie tech blog saying don't buy Apple, it's overpriced. And that's really not why you buy Apple, right? You buy it for the ecosystem. You have a lot of different things that work together well. You have the watch, TV, iPhone, home stuff, so you can really buy all of that for the ecosystem. And in addition to that, you have a lot of good things. You have a nice, reliable OS that comes with a lot of good features, as well as proprietary apps. And I cannot stress this enough, but the proprietary apps are absolutely amazing. Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro X, they're both really great apps that a lot of people buy in order to use. So they'll buy like a $2,000 Mac instead of a $1,000 Windows laptop in order to use these products. And on top of that, you have really great build quality and a very clean design. And now we get performance out of these Macs. We get performance that can compete with modern day desktops and laptops in the same price range. On top of all of that, we also get phenomenally better battery life. The battery life just knocks everything else out of the park. So now the question isn't, should you buy an Apple Mac, but rather we should be asking, is it worth it to Hackintosh now? And the short answer is yes. Long answer is yes, but not nearly as much as it used to be. There are still quite a few cases where you might want a Hackintosh. The most obvious reason is dual booting. If you want to have like Windows for gaming and macOS for editing or general use, then a Hackintosh is probably the best bet. There is Boot Camp in macOS, but unfortunately not a lot of things are optimized for ARM chips in Windows, such as games. And this keeps Hackintoshing very viable, because a lot of people, they like to play games, but they also like to use the proprietary apps and the features of macOS. Now currently there are 3 Macs with the M1 chip being offered. There's the MacBook Pro, which starts at $1,500, the MacBook Air, which starts at $1,000, and the Mac Mini, which starts at $700. So anyone who wants to use macOS under $700 is going to want a Hackintosh. That's pretty much the only option that you really have. Now yes, there are used Macs under $700, but keep in mind that those are Intel-based Macs, so they won't perform nearly as well as these M1 chips. And this is another thing that keeps Hackintoshing a very viable option still. There isn't a used market yet for the M1 Macs, and we probably won't see a populous used market for much less than retail until about a year or two out. So if you're looking to Hackintosh a budget office PC, or you have a budget of around $300 to $600, then a Hackintosh is still a great option. The one area where Apple has flipped the turf is in laptops. Now most people will probably be Hackintoshing desktops rather than laptops, and buying a laptop to Hackintosh just really isn't worth it compared to just buying an M1 Mac, because you already get a lot of performance out of these M1 Macs. The one area where Apple has to improve on is the GPU. The GPU just isn't very strong, and for GPU intensive tasks, you're better off just buying something with a discrete, dedicated GPU. The GPU on the M1 Macs are better than Intel and AMD integrated graphics, but it's still not better than dedicated mobile GPUs in similarly priced laptops. Now a lot of people talk about Apple dropping support for Intel CPUs in macOS and how it's going to kill Hackintoshing entirely. And while yes, it will kill it to some extent, we probably won't see a non-Intel version of macOS until at least 3 to 4 years out, and even then, you just don't have to update and you can still use macOS. Now ARM Hackintoshing has been brought up, but unfortunately ARM chips aren't as uniform as x86 CPUs in the sense that different ARM chips usually only share a few different parts for each separate chip. So it's unlikely that we're going to see a ARM Hackintosh. Now we might see efforts to make macOS compatible with x86 CPUs once Apple drops support for them, but we're going to have to wait and see if the development of something like that is feasible or even possible in the first place. Alright, that's it for the future of Hackintoshing.